The planet Zargon 5 was full of dust, broken cities and war. But in the middle of the chaos, one place was still alive, the Grand Arena. Thousands of aliens from many species filled the giant stadium. Lights flashed across the metal walls. Loud music and cheers shook the ground. It was fight day. This was not just a game, it was blood sport. And today, something special was promised. A match between the alien champion and a human. Aliens laughed and shouted as the fighters were announced. "Bring out the challenger." A voice echoed through the arena. A small figure walked out, his hands in chains. He wore no armor, only a simple black suit. His name was Rin Carter, a human from Earth. The crowd roared with laughter. "Is that a child? He's so small. Earth is sending snacks now?" High above the crowd in a private viewing box sat General Orcs, a powerful alien commander. He sipped his drink and chuckled. This will be short. Then came the champion, Vorax. He was nearly 8 feet tall, covered in thick armor. His skin was gray and rough like stone. His eyes glowed red. His body was made for battle. His arms had ended many lives. When Vorax entered the arena, the ground seemed to shake. The crowd cheered wildly. Vorax looked at Rin and laughed. "This is your warrior, Earth? I'll break him with one hand." Rin said nothing. He didn't blink. He didn't look scared. He simply looked up at Vorax with calm eyes. Cold eyes. His face had no fear, no emotion. The crowd grew louder. Bets were placed. Alien commentators joked. This was entertainment. The bell rang. Fight start. Vorax moved first, fast and strong. His fist came down like a hammer. But Rin wasn't there. The crowd gasped. Rin had moved. Quickly. Too quickly. The giant fist slammed into the ground, breaking stone. But Rin stood behind him, calm as ever. Vorax growled. He spun around with a kick. Fast for someone his size. Rin leaned back. The foot missed by inches. Again the arena gasped. General Orcs leaned forward in his seat. His smile faded just a little. Vorax tried again, this time with both fists. A double strike that had crushed bones before. Rin ducked and rolled smooth like water. He was dancing through death. The aliens in the front row were no longer laughing. They were watching. Rin still hadn't attacked. Not once. He was only dodging, but perfectly. He didn't look tired. He didn't look nervous. He just studied Vorax with sharp eyes. Vorax was getting angry now. "Fight back, coward!" he shouted. But Rin only said one thing, his voice calm. "You swing too wide, too slow." The crowd went quiet for a second. Vorax charged like a beast. Rin stepped aside and kicked the back of Vorax's leg. The giant stumbled, surprised. That was the first hit. It wasn't strong, but it was perfect, clean, planned. In the stands, General Orcs whispered to his assistant, "Get me all the data on this human, now." Back in the arena, Vorax roared in rage. He lifted a stone pillar and threw it. Rin flipped over it like a trained gymnast. Then he stood still, again, waiting, watching. The alien crowd wasn't laughing anymore. They were leaning forward, silent. Even the announcers had paused. One alien whispered, "What is he doing?" Another said, "He's learning." Vorax attacked again. This time he missed so badly he fell to one knee. Rin didn't attack. He just looked up at the alien generals. Box met Korox's eyes through the glass and smiled. Something had changed in the air. This wasn't just a fight. This was a message. The arena was too quiet. The crowd, once loud and wild, was now frozen. Alien eyes followed every small move that the human, Rin Carter, made. And Rin, he still hadn't broken a sweat. Across the arena, Vorax stood tall again, breathing hard. His armor was scratched, his pride wounded. He had fought hundreds of battles. He had broken bones with ease. But this time, he hadn't even touched his enemy. The crowd expected a quick show, a dead human, a cheer, but they got something else, a challenge. Vorax roared, louder than before, and charged with full strength. He swung both arms toward Rin like steel hammers. Rin moved like lightning. He stepped left, then dropped low, sliding under Vorax's legs. Before the alien could turn, Rin jumped and landed a sharp elbow into the back of Vorax's knee. Crack, the thigh. Giant grunted in pain and stumbled forward. A second blow. The crowd gasped. Did the human hurt him? General Kurox watched from the viewing box, his drink now untouched. His eyes were narrow. Slow it down, he told his assistant. I want to see every move. Screens around the arena showed the replay, frame by frame. Rin's hit was perfect. Right on a weak spot behind the armor plate. Not lucky, skilled. In the arena, Vorax turned with rage. You'll pay for that, human! He swung a powerful kick. It was fast and strong, but sloppy. Rin didn't dodge this time. He stepped in. Too close. Vorax's foot missed. Off balance now, the alien stumbled forward again. Bam! Rin punched upward, right under the alien's jaw. Vorax's head jerked. Back. The punch looked small compared to Vorax's size, but the angle and force were exact. The crowd stood up. This wasn't normal. A human shouldn't move like this. Shouldn't survive this long. Shouldn't land clean hits. Something was wrong, or something was planned. General Kurox spoke again, this time to a private comms line. Did Earth send a warrior? His advisor answered. He has no known rank, no record of combat. Then why is he controlling my arena? Below, Rin circled Vorax slowly. He didn't smile, he didn't talk, but his eyes never left the alien. Vorax's breathing grew heavier. His nose bled. His knee was weak. He's playing with him, one alien whispered. No, said another. He's studying him. Suddenly, Vorax jumped high, swinging both fists down. Boom! A cloud of dust flew into the air. The ground cracked under his strike. But when the dust cleared, Vorax stood alone. Rin was gone. Then came a quiet thud. Behind him, Rin had landed, crouched like a shadow, ready to strike again. Vorax turned in shock. Too slow. Wham! Rin kicked his leg. The same injured knee. Vorax dropped, the once great champion on one knee. The crowd didn't cheer. They couldn't. This felt different. This wasn't just sport. This was a warning. Rin stepped back and raised both hands. Not to surrender, but to signal something. He looked up straight at General Kurox's box and bowed. Just once. It wasn't a show of respect. It was a challenge. Kurox stood, face pale. Stop this fight now. But the arena masters hesitated. There's no rule to end the match, sir. Then make one, Kurox growled. Back in the arena, Vorax shouted, Fight me. Rin looked at him calmly. I already did. And then, he dropped the weapon. The next day, the grand arena was silent. No fights, no cheers, no laughter. Everyone was still talking about the human, Rin Carter. The small fighter who didn't just survive, but controlled the fight. Who bowed to the alien general. Who walked away without a scratch. Alien news screens across the galaxy replayed the fight again and again. Human defeats Vorax. Earth's warrior leaves crowd in shock. Was it skill or something more? At the top of the tower, General Kurox paced in his chamber. His jaw was tight. His pride was shattered. I want to know who trained that human, he growled. His assistant replied, No military records, no fighting background. Earth says he's just a traveler. Kurox slammed his fist on the table. Travelers don't move like that. They don't break champions. He stared at the replay again. Rin's moves were too sharp, too fast. He fought like he had studied every move before the fight even began. Meanwhile, far below in the prison wing of the arena, Rin sat alone in a cell. The guards didn't dare touch him. They just watched. He sat calmly, hands on his knees. Breathing. Slow, thinking. Memories filled his mind. The cold training room, the voice of his teacher. You don't fight with power, Rin. You fight with control. Study the opponent. See what they can't hide. Fear, anger, weakness. The strongest. Warrior is the one who never needs to scream. Rin had been trained in secret. Not by Earth's army, but by something older. Darker. Hidden. He had grown up on a forgotten moon, taken in by a group called the Silent Corps, a secret Earth faction made up of elite warriors, spies, and thinkers. No ranks, no medals, only purpose. They trained in silence, fought without orders, acted when diplomacy failed. Their rule: no one must know we exist until it's too late. Rin had been their best student. Not because he was the strongest, but because he was the most focused. He didn't fight to win, he fought to teach. Back in the control room, General Kurok watched his screens again. He zoomed in on Rin's eyes during the fight. There was no fear, no emotion, just calm calculation. He knew every move Vorax would make, Kurok said. Like he had seen it all before. A scientist nearby whispered, "Maybe." He had. Kurok turned. "What do you mean?" The scientist swallowed hard. "There are rumors of a human group off the books. They don't follow Earth's laws. They train outside the system. Ghost soldiers." Kurok's eyes narrowed. "Find out where they train," he ordered. "Find out how they made him." In the prison cell, a guard entered with food. He placed the tray down and stepped back quickly. But Rin didn't move. He looked at the guard and said softly, "Tell your master this, I came here for a reason." The guard froze. "A message?" he asked. "No," Rin replied. "A warning." Outside the cell, cameras rolled. Kurok watched, closely. His lips pressed into a hard line. This wasn't just a fighter, this was a weapon, and Earth had more. 3 solar cycles passed. The arena stayed closed. Fighters left. Visitors canceled. Rumors spread across the stars. And in the center of it all, one human sat quietly in a cold prison cell. Rin Carter. He hadn't asked for anything. No food. No water. No escape. He just waited. On the 4th day, a silver ship entered the orbit of Zargon 5. Its design was clean, sharp, fast. Earth's seal glowed bright on its side. But this wasn't a warship. It was a diplomatic craft. General Kurok watched. From the tower, "They're sending diplomats after what he did? Do they think we're fools?" Beside him, his second-in-command asked, "Should we shoot it down?" "No," Kurok said, frowning. "Let's see what Earth has to say." The ship landed smoothly. The gate opened. A single figure walked out. A human woman in a black coat, tall still and dangerous. She was not afraid. She walked straight into the command tower without a single guard stopping her. When she entered the meeting room, General Kurok stood. "I expected a team," he said. "You only need one," she replied. Her voice was calm, her eyes sharp. "And who are you?" She placed a small device on the table. "My name doesn't matter," she said. "But this message does." The device lit up. A hologram flickered. It was Earth's High Commander, the leader of Earth's Unified Defense Council. He looked directly at Kurok. "General," the hologram began, "your champion mocked our people, laughed at our species. You turned combat into cruelty. We sent you one man. One. You've seen what he can do. You're wondering how many more we have." The message paused. The silence in the room grew heavy. "Here is your answer," the hologram continued. "Enough. If this aggression continues, Earth will not respond with fighters. We will respond with those trained in the dark, those you cannot track. You may never see them coming." The hologram ended. The room was silent. Kurok leaned forward. "Are you threatening me?" The woman didn't blink. "We don't threaten, we show examples." "And the fighter you sent?" he asked. She smiled. That was a whisper. Kurok's jaw tightened. "You dare?" She cut him off. "Open your records. Look at what's happened in the last 4 days. 4 of your weapon facilities on different planets shut down without a sound." He paused. She was right. Secret weapon bases had gone dark, systems offline, guards missing, no alarms. They had blamed rebels, but now... "You still think..." "Rin came alone?" she said coldly. Kurok swallowed hard. He had made a mistake. Earth didn't roar. Earth planned. In the prison wing, guards received new orders. Release the human, the message said. But when they arrived, the door to Rin's cell was already open. He was gone. No camera had seen him leave. No sensor had tracked his steps. Only one word was left behind, scratched into the wall. Watched. The next day, the Galactic Council held an emergency session. All seats were filled. Faces were serious. One alien leader stood. We believed Earth was soft, always talking peace, always sending words. He looked around the room. We were wrong. Earth has warriors we cannot see, fighters we cannot understand. And if one man can silence a planet, what happens if they all rise? No one answered, because everyone already knew. It began with a whisper. A small mining outpost on planet Traxon 7 went silent. No distress calls, no alarms, just silence. When ships arrived to investigate, they found every control system locked, every weapon deactivated, and on the wall 3 words written in human letters. You were warned. No bodies, no damage, just fear. The news spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Every species had one question: what are the humans planning? But Earth said nothing. They didn't send more diplomats. They didn't send threats. Instead, more. Places started going dark. On the desert world of Karka 9, a weapons factory vanished overnight. On the cold moons of Velior, a command center was emptied. Guards asleep and unaware. In each location, the same sign appeared. Watched. Inside, Earth's secret base on the moon Titan, a quiet room glowed with blue lights. Screens showed maps, locations, faces, and in the middle of it all sat Rin Carter. He was no longer in chains. He wore the black armor of the Silent Corps. Beside him stood the woman who had delivered the message to Orcs, Commander Lynn Aris. She spoke softly. You've shaken them, but we're not finished. Rin nodded. They haven't learned the lesson yet. Commander Lynn turned to the screen. Next target? Rin pointed to a blinking dot. The Gladiator Network. They still run fights, still buy slaves. She gave the order. Move in quiet, no deaths, no damage, just a message. The Silent Corps didn't use giant ships or explosions. They used shadows. They entered without doors, spoke without words, left only warnings. Meanwhile, in the Alien Council, panic was growing. A council member from the Jurak species slammed his hand on the table. We need to strike Earth before they strike us. Another from the Vorta Empire shook his head. How? Their fighters don't fight like us, they don't use armies, they disappear. General Kurok sat in silence. He looked tired. He finally spoke. They're not at war, he said. They're teaching. Teaching us that humans don't need to scream to be feared. No one answered. They all remembered the fight in the arena, the way Rin moved, the way he didn't kill, because he didn't have to. Back on Titan, Rin stood on a balcony overlooking Earth's silent fleet in the distance. Ships rested in the dark, ready, but waiting. Commander Lin walked up beside him. You okay? She asked. Rin nodded slowly. I didn't come here to be a hero. You're not, she said. You're a mirror. You're showing them who we are when words fail. Rin thought about the arena, the laughter, the jeers, and how quiet the crowd had become when they realized he wasn't a joke. He was a message that Earth was not weak, that silence wasn't surrender. And now, the galaxy was listening. The galaxy waited. Planets locked down their borders. Armies doubled patrols. Warships stood ready. But Earth remained silent. No warnings, no armies, just quiet. And yet, systems kept going dark. On the trade moon, Narella elite alien guards found their ships disabled without a scratch. On the walls again, the message, watched. On Zelron 3, a council member's private vault was emptied. No gold taken, no tech missing. Only a small black cube was left. When opened, it played a recording. You laughed at a human in chains. You called him weak. Now you look for shadows in every corner. Earth does not scream. We whisper. The message ended. Council members were now holding emergency meetings in deep bunkers. Fear sat heavy in their hearts, not fear of an attack, fear of the unknown, fear of the silent core. Inside Earth's base on Titan, Rin Carter trained quietly. Every strike, every movement was perfect, smooth, focused. Commander Lin watched him from a distance. "He's ready," she said to her team. Her second-in-command nodded. "They're terrified. We've shown them what a whisper can do." Lin looked at the star map glowing before her. "They still think we're preparing for war," she said. "They don't understand. We've already won." Rin walked up beside her. "I think it's time," he said. Lin raised an eyebrow. "Time for what?" Rin's voice was calm. "To be seen." Back in the Galactic Council, tension had reached its peak. "Earth must be planning something massive," said the Vorta leader. "We should strike now while we can." General Kurok stood slowly. "No," he said. The room went quiet. "We don't understand Earth," Kuroks continued. "And that's the danger. They gave us a fighter not to win, but to show us what one human can do." He stared at the others. "And still, you think you can face them in battle?" The council room's door suddenly opened. A messenger stepped, pale and shaking. You need to see this," he said. He placed a small device on the center table. A video began to play. It showed Rin Carter, standing alone, unchained, unarmed. Behind him, the Earth flag. He looked directly at the camera. His voice was calm, slow, clear. "This is not a war message. Earth never wanted to fight. We wanted peace. But you laughed at our people. You made sport of us. You believed we were weak. So we answered. Not with fleets, not with fire, but with one. One fighter, one message, one truth." He stepped forward. "If peace is not given, silence will take its place." The screen turned black. No logo, no music. Just black. The room was dead silent. A single question hung in the air, like smoke. What happens when Earth stops whispering and starts to roar? The message from Rin Carter spread across the stars like fire through dry grass. Every planet, every screen, every species. No explosions, no armies. Just a face, just words. But those words were enough. The galaxy, once proud and loud, now grew. Quiet, alien leaders held secret meetings. Warriors who once mocked Earth now trained in silence. Civilians whispered the name Rin Carter like it was legend. On planet Drazul, a popular news anchor said on live broadcast, "We thought humans were soft, slow, weak. But they sent one man into the heart of violence, and he never raised his voice." On the outer rim, rebel groups once fighting against Earth suddenly backed down. Even pirates began avoiding human zones. They feared what couldn't be seen, what couldn't be predicted, what couldn't be stopped. The silent. Cord inside Earth's base on Titan. Rin stood once more on the balcony. Below, new recruits trained in silence. No shouting, no music, just precision. Commander Lin joined him. "It's done," she said. Rin didn't answer right away. He stared at the stars. "They were never afraid of weapons," he finally said. "They were afraid of the unknown." Lin nodded. "That's what makes silence louder than war." Reports began arriving. The gladiator arenas across 5 systems were shut down. Slavery markets collapsed overnight. Alien governments began proposing peace agreements with Earth, not out of fear of war, but respect. In the Galactic Council, a historic meeting took place. For the first time, Earth was invited to sit at the high table, not as a guest, as a power. A Jurak leader stood and announced, "From this day, we recognize Earth not as a voice in the room, but as the force behind." The silence. The chamber clapped. Slowly at first, then all together, even General Kurok stood, his voice quiet but firm. "Rin Carter showed us a truth we all ignored. That true strength doesn't brag." He looked at the Earth representative. It's simply, back on Titan, Rin packed his few things. Commander Lin raised a brow. "Going somewhere?" He smiled faintly. The galaxy's watching now. My job's done. You changed everything, she said. No, he replied. We did. Earth did. And if they ever forget again? He looked over his shoulder. Then they'll hear the silence return. As he walked out of the base, the stars above sparkled, like 1,000 quiet eyes. Not one war was fought. Not one city burned. But the galaxy would never forget the lesson. Earth doesn't need to shout to be feared. Sometimes, a whisper is enough.